Bjorn goes back to his room. He is very tired, not from the work, but from the mental pressure of the situation earlier. The anxiety he felt still hasn't gone away, but he is sure he didn't make a mistake and handled it well. He also noticed that the old man looked disappointed, though he isn't sure why. Deciding to forget about it for now, he lets his thoughts drift. Just as he is lost in them, Misha suddenly gets in his face and asks if he is still sleeping. Bjorn is startled at first, but quickly remembers that he gave her the keys. Without hesitation, he suddenly stands up, grabs Misha's hand, and says that he needs her. Misha got very flustered and said that she was not ready for this and that it was still too bright. Bjorn was confused by what she was saying, but ignored her and told her to write replies to the letters he had received from the nobles. She asked Bjorn if it was really okay to send letters like this to the nobility, as they might cause problems for him. Bjorn reassured her that it was fine and that he was confident in his replies. "Well, I'm not so sure about this," she muttered. He had simply written that he was too busy and that they should look for another barbarian. Misha was worried at first, but gave up after seeing Bjorn's reaction. Then she asked him what had happened yesterday at the party. As they wrote the letters, Bjorn told her the story. Later, they had their team meeting. 10 days before the labyrinth opened, the dwarf decided not to enter this time because of the rumors about a dimensional collapse spreading around. And he wasn't the only one who thought so. Both Dwalki and Rottmiller also decided not to enter. Misha asked Bjorn what he planned to do. Of course, Bjorn knew the rumors were false, thanks to the information he had gathered from the community. He could also convince others to join if he wanted to. However, this time, he had other plans. And it was better for him if the others didn't enter with him. It had been 3 months since he had entered the first floor rupture, the blood-tinted castle, which meant the rupture was about to reset. It was common knowledge among skilled players that they should enter a rupture as soon as the cooldown ended at the start. But Bjorn couldn't just tell others how to open the rupture. So, he decided to take only Misha with him. He informed the others that only he and Misha would be going this time. Misha got scared and tried to protest, but Bjorn asked her if she planned to leave him to go alone. She said no, but it was obvious she didn't want to go. Bjorn told her that if she didn't want to go, he could go alone. She huffed and told him that he should ask her nicely first. Hearing this, Bjorn exaggeratedly spoke in a robotic tone. "Will, you, please, go with me." Just from that, Misha became incredibly happy and immediately agreed, saying that she couldn't let him go alone. Even Bjorn was shocked that she had agreed so easily. He then informed the others that they would be going without them. The next day at the marketplace, the royal family issued a statement declaring that the rumors about the dimensional collapse were false. As soon as the dwarf heard the news, he went to Bjorn, laughing. "Now we can go to the labyrinth together," he said. But Bjorn refused. "I already accepted a request," he said, and closed the door, leaving the dwarf outside with an awkward laugh. Misha was confused and asked Bjorn when he had received the bodyguard request. He casually admitted that he was just making an excuse and that he was actually planning to go into a rupture this time. Misha frowned. "Did you figure out a way to enter the rupture from the labyrinth?" Bjorn awkwardly nodded. Innocently, Misha asked, "Why did you keep it a secret from the others? Wouldn't it be better if we all went together?" While cleaning Misha's blades, Bjorn countered, "Did you tell anyone that you contracted the spirit beast with the help of the spirit frost ring?" Misha shook her head. Bjorn pressed, "Are you sure you didn't tell anyone?" Looking confused, Misha replied, "You were the one who told me not to tell others. Why would I?" Bjorn then asked, "If the dwarf were in your position, do you think he would have kept it a secret?" Misha scoffed. "No way. He'd have told everyone after getting drunk." Bjorn smirked. "What about the others?" Misha thought for a moment. "Dwalki might blurt it out by accident. As for Rottmiller, I'm not so sure." Bjorn agreed. Rottmiller was the most normal and easiest to understand. He might have kept the secret if Bjorn asked him to, but in return, he'd probably get suspicious of Bjorn. Misha finally understood. "So that's why you kept it a secret from the others. But what about me? Why are you telling me about the rupture?" She looked a little scared. Bjorn had several reasons. Unexpectedly, Misha didn't spill secrets. She looked clumsy, like the type who would talk about everything, but when it came to secrets, she had tight lips. At the same time, she was terrible at lying, so Bjorn could always tell if the secret had spread or not. Bjorn summed it all up in a single sentence: I trust you. Just hearing those words, Misha almost cried. Her face turned red. To hide her embarrassment and happiness, she started making excuses. It's getting hot. Bjorn simply told her to drink some water. There were 8 days left before the labyrinth opened, and Bjorn was going to use all that time to prepare. First, he had his weapons enchanted, his mace and Misha's twin swords with lightning. Then, he purchased a lightning scroll, a thunder herb, and the most expensive advanced potion. Even Misha's voice trembled as she asked, "Are you really buying this?" Bjorn nodded. "I've wanted one for a long time. It won't be a waste." Misha was more worried because the 2 million stones they spent on everything had come from the joint account she and Bjorn had created a while ago. The next day, Bjorn visited the Barbarian shaman. The shaman told Bjorn that he seemed to be doing well, having earned 4 million stones in just 2 months for level 4 of the Immortal Seal. After reaching the 4th level, Bjorn's mentality and skill stats increased by 40. Testing his abilities, he realized he could now stay in giant mode 1.5 times longer than before. While eating, Misha asked if she could come to the library with him. Bjorn gave her a dumbfounded look. "You? Red?" Misha got angry. "Of course I do. Sometimes." Bjorn chuckled and took her with him. However, this time the librarian used the normal spell on them instead of the special one. When Bjorn asked why, she flusteredly admitted that the other spell was something she did just for him, so she couldn't use it in front of others. Bjorn raised a brow. "Shouldn't you have told me that privately?" The librarian gasped. "You're right." Then she quickly turned to Misha and said, "Forget what I just said." Both Bjorn and Misha were shocked and confused, but Bjorn chose to ignore it. The next day, he visited the magic tower and met Raven. With this visit, his promise to help her was finally over. Bjorn asked if she wanted to take back the entry pass to the magic tower, but Raven told him to keep it. "You're a trouble magnet," she reminded him. "You'll probably need my help again." Bjorn kept the entry pass. Finally, the day of the labyrinth opening arrived. Bjorn showed the new barbarians the way to the portal and gave them advice, telling them to protect their hearts from humans. They thanked him, making Bjorn both shy and happy. The dwarf looked at him and grinned. "It's nice to have a dependable mentor." Bjorn shrugged. "I just showed them the way, nothing much." But the dwarf gave him a weird look. "You don't have to be so humble and shy about it." Bjorn also gave the dwarf some advice. "Be careful, Vas, and doubt anyone who's being too friendly." The dwarf laughed. "Do I look like those young barbarians to you?" Bjorn thought to himself. "You kind of do." Rottmiller, Dwalki, and the dwarf entered the labyrinth, while Bjorn and Misha stayed behind. Misha grew nervous. "Are we going in or not?" Bjorn told her to wait. "How long?" she asked. Inside his mind, Bjorn sighed. "This is why I don't like newbies. If I tell them to wait, they should just wait." When the gate was about to close, Bjorn finally told Misha, "Let's go now." Just like before, he wanted to earn the extra experience points for opening the portal to the 2nd floor first.